Asna as an Associate Vice President, Virinchi Hospitals. Firstly, I'd like to thank everyone for being a part of this collaboration meet between Virinchi Hospitals and Renal Research Institute, New York, which has happened on a global scale. This partnership aims at providing most advanced kidney failure treatments to the people around the world. I would like to start this program by welcoming four most important people which made this collaboration possible. One, the man with vision, Mr. Vishwanath Kompalla, Chairman, Virinchi Hospitals. Sir, can you please come? Dr. K.S. Nayak, a world expert in treating kidney disorders. Respected Professor Peter Kotankar, Director of Research, Renal Research Institute, New York. Mr. Vishal Ranjan, President, Virinchi Limited. We will now begin with a brief introduction to Virinchi Hospitals by Mr. Vishal Ranjan.
A very good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to this event today. Virinchi Hospitals is a part of a public listed organization called Virinchi Limited, which is a 30-year-old technology and healthcare organization now. We have 3 hospitals running in Hyderabad as we speak. The flagship hospital in Banjara Hills has been now in its 3rd year of operations, while there are 2 more in Barkatpura and Hayat Nagar. In addition, being a technology company, we have had multiple investments not only in the healthcare part of it, but also around building business and mobility solutions all over India. So Virinchi as a group in healthcare space is working in the states of Uttar Pradesh, Karnataka, etc., where we have been able to build technology platform for this solution, which we call as a brick and a click model of healthcare. This solution and this relationship that we are building is furthering our program in the range what we call as the right to science, which is essentially a mission statement for Virinchi Limited. The intent here is that if there is a poor patient who may not have an access to a medical science or innovation which is available anywhere on the planet, whether US, Europe, Israel, China, Virinchi Hospital will continue to be a strong conduit to build those relationships, act as a funnel, and bring the best of those technologies to our Indian patients. Here, in today's partnership, we are proud to be a global partner with RRI, the Renal Research Institute, which is a part of the Fresenius Group, which is itself a $30 billion annual turnover group. It's a global partnership that we are bringing in the technology, which will be explained a bit by our clinical professionals. What is also important is that whichever innovations that happen, especially in kidney care, have at some point of time started with Fresenius and the RRI, as we see. Our professor, Dr. Nayak, has been a visiting faculty at the RRI Institute and has been working closely with them in all such innovations. So what we'll be seeing shortly are the specific technology innovation which is helping not only our existing patients but the entire 60 million diabetic patients, or if you're talking about as of now around 200,000 end-stage kidney patients that will be potentially be benefited by this innovation that we bring in. I would request Professor Nayak to explain about the partnership.
My Telugu is very bad. So there's no question of me speaking in Telugu, and I think Professor Peter and me can understand each other only in English. Yeah, so the Telugu translation will be done by the chairman of Virinchi Hospitals and Virinchi Limited. Me and Peter go a long way. We think similarly. We think for the good of the public. We think about what we can leave after we leave this world. And one of the things that we came up with was a collaboration between 2 like-minded institutions. Virinchi Hospitals is probably going to be one of the leading institutions for healthcare and research, not only in India but outside India. We have all the facilities, we have the clinical material, we have the animal research labs, in short, and we have the personnel, and we have an extremely dedicated Department of Nephrology headed by Dr. K.S. Nayak. So and that's the reason me and Peter have become friends for a long time, and we have reached situation now that we need to develop something which will alleviate the sufferings of the patient with renal failure. Renal failure can be of two types. It can be of something called acute kidney injury, by which we mean, in fact, acute for the layperson means severe. It is not correct. Acute means of short duration. So in kidney diseases, acute kidney injury is better than chronic kidney injury. Chronic kidney injury or end-stage renal disease means that the kidney is permanently damaged. There's nothing you can do except do transplantation or be lifelong on dialysis. With acute kidney injury, where though the project that we are now, which is going to be one of the first projects we are going to collaborate, the Renal Research Institute, New York, of which Professor Peter Kotanko, one of the leading experts worldwide, and he's going to talk about it. He's going to also explain in as simple words as possible so that everyone understands here through the PowerPoint presentation. But this path-breaking treatment will be a treatment which can be done anywhere. I can say under a tree, or on a railway platform, or anywhere, because hemodialysis needs a water source, a good water source around the clock whenever you are doing. And it's a machine as big as a refrigerator. But this is a small machine, very inexpensive, and connected between, he'll explain the scientific details of that. Especially, I would say, sub-Saharan Africa, China, even far-flung regions in US and Canada and Australia, where people need to airlift. In Canada and New Zealand, people die of renal failure because there is a limitation. They airlift the patient to a hospital, but that will not be needed if this path-breaking technology was available. So we are on the verge of devising what is called allo-hemodialysis, which probably will ensure that no single person in the world will die of kidney failure. And that is where I meant acute kidney injury, or in simpler terms, acute kidney failure is good. Not good in the sense that you should get it, but given a choice between acute kidney failure, acute kidney injury and chronic kidney injury, it's better to have acute kidney injury. And this treatment, though it can be used for both, or use it for end-stage renal disease for some time and then have a transplantation, or you have the time to ship the patient to a city for the treatment. Acute kidney injury, the deaths that happen, especially in northern coast of India, Sundarbans, Orissa, where there is no access for any treatment, you can use this treatment and it can save the life. The ideal scenario I can talk of is a mother can treat with this machine her child, a husband can treat his wife, and the breadwinner of the family, who's usually in these impoverished areas, goes into the farm, is very much exposed to nephrotoxic, which means toxic to the kidney, things like snake venom. And the remarkable ability of acute kidney injury is, if you support that kidney for about 2 to 3 weeks, they completely recover and become normal. So that is why I say with confidence that allo-hemodialysis, the first of our collaborations, can save every single life at risk of dying if we use this inexpensive modality. I don't think I have much more to say, except that I have been associated for quite some time with Peter Kotanko, and I'm a visiting scientist there, and we collaborate a lot, and we have reached a stage now that we announced to the press that we have formalized our association between Virinchi Hospital and Virinchi Limited and Renal Research Institute, which as mentioned, is a Fortune 500 company with remarkable resources, and their research wing is called the Renal Research Institute, and it's mainly based in New York, though not only in New York. I invite Peter for me, Peter Kotanko for you, Professor Peter Kotanko to all of you, Dais, so that he can explain to you in as simple words as possible his presentation on allohemodialysis. Thank you.
This kind introduction, and I have to say I'm really honored to be here, and I was really looking forward for months and months to be actually here at this wonderful conference and to meet you. It was actually interesting. I just was thinking back when I reached out to Dr. Nayak for the first time. It was late in the evening in New York. It was somewhere during the day here in Hyderabad, and I got him on the phone, and I tell you something really unusual happened. Within, I guess, maybe 2 minutes, 1 to 2 minutes, we understood thousands of miles away that we were exactly on the same page. You may have had this experience on occasion in your life. You never have met someone, you are just on the phone and you realize, oh gosh, this person and you are really on the same wavelength. And the collaboration that has deepened and deepened since then is really based on the fact that we share the same values, we share the same goals, we have the same visions, how to improve patient outcomes. And I'm really proud and happy about this collaboration between Virinchi Hospitals, Virinchi Limited, and the Renal Research Institute. I thought I'd show a few slides about the Renal Research Institute, where Dr. Nayak is visiting scientist and professor, about what we are doing, just to briefly introduce it to you. And I'll start with a few slides, just about the history of the Renal Research Institute. So RRI was formed 22 years ago as a joint venture between Fresenius Medical Care North America and the Beth Israel Medical Center in New York. Fresenius Medical Care is the world's largest kidney company, with representations in around, I think, 160 countries. In North America, Fresenius has almost 3,000 dialysis clinics. It's a vertically integrated company that delivers both services to patients but also produces machines in this field. It, I think, covers around 90% of the machine market and disposable market in North America. The Beth Israel Hospital was back then was the campus of the Albert Einstein College of Medicine, a world-renowned medical university. And the goal from the onset was really to bring applied medicine to the bedside, to really ensure, thanks to close collaborations with academic institutions, that insights we as nephrologists, as kidney doctors, and researchers develop are brought to the patient within a short time frame. Not within 10 years, 15 years, but rather within 10 and 15 months. So this was the philosophy behind it. And it started as a joint venture, and in 2011, RRI became a wholly owned subsidiary of Fresenius Medical Care. Now, what are RRI's strengths and core competencies? We have spearheaded the development of unique novel concepts that we call virtual clinical trials. So we have a strong and leading role in the area of computational biomedicine. These so-called virtual trials, and I spoke about them 2 days ago at this conference in Hyderabad, they use sort of mathematical twins, quote unquote, of real existing patients. And then we perform on supercomputers large-scale evaluations. We test treatments in these thousands and thousands and thousands of mathematical twins of patients, and this has generated tremendous benefit to patients and also economic value. We are very strong when it comes to data analytics. We have access to very large databases, global databases that analyze in particular kidney patients. We perform clinical studies in our clinics. We have an immediate access to large patient populations. So within half an hour or so drive by car in Manhattan, we have around 600 dialysis patients that are immediately available to us for clinical studies. Recently, we have set up a very modern lab with quite some interesting hardware, but more importantly, also with the brains of people who can actually use those devices. And we have a very large network of domestic and international academic partners, and I'll come to this in a minute. So these are some, I think, of our core strengths and competencies. I should say Fresenius Medical Care treats around 200,000 dialysis patients in North America, in the US alone. Here are some of our academic partners. These are just examples, like University of North Carolina, Michigan, Rochester, Massachusetts Lowell, Mount Sinai, Cornell University, Columbia University, Yale, University of California, Santa Barbara, University of Illinois, and New York universities. These are some of the US partners we are working with, and we have joint research projects with. And here there is also parts of our international network. Very close ties to the Netherlands, for example, University of Maastricht, Curitiba in Brazil, Guadalajara in Mexico, or University of Mexico City, Khartoum in Graz in Austria, Constance and Karlsruhe in Germany, and others. And I'm really so proud and happy that we can add now Virinchi Hospital to that list. So this is just a dream come true, because we always wished so much to have also closer ties to leading centers in India. At RRI, they work, by the way, Indian colleagues, of course, and one of the leading mathematicians and chemical engineers actually comes from India and was very heavily involved in the research project I'll talk about in a minute. Now, RRI is co-founder of the world's largest international dialysis database. We work with patient data from currently 42 countries. And as you can see, India is a white spot on this map of the world. And I really hope that thanks to our ties and our evolving collaboration with Virinchi Hospitals and Virinchi Limited, that we will be able to fill that spot in the not too distant future. Now, many of RRI's relationship with both US but also international institutions go back to the concept we have with research fellows. So we invite fellows from all over the world to stay with RRI for 1 to 2 years. These are usually MDs or PhDs, and to date, fellows from over 40 countries have been with RRI. And these fellows move back to their home countries and move to leading positions. They run our departments. They are directors of large national societies. So this is one of the ways how we grow year by year our international network. We have a scientist in residence program that's very powerful. We have scientists from the US and from abroad with us for a short period of time. And as I said, Dr. Nayak is a visiting scientist to RRI, so he will be a member when he comes to New York. He will be again a scientist in residence there. And we have a PhD program with the University of Maastricht. Also host an annual conference with around 350 or so attendees. The next one will take place in Los Angeles, actually in Hollywood. And its attendees come also mainly from the US, but also from other countries, also from Asia and the Asia-Pacific region. I want to share with you in the next few slides the first of many to come collaboration projects with Virinchi hospitals. And you already have heard this term LOHD. And this is a presentation I gave here yesterday actually, which I think was very well received and resulted in a lot of feedback from my Indian colleagues. I share with you the introductory words of David Harris, who is a professor of medicine in the University of Sydney and was president of the International Society of Nephrology. And he pointed out that there is just a large number of patients with kidney failure. And it's something like in 2013, 14.5 million patients are expected to suffer from kidney failure. And yet only 5.4 million will receive treatment because of economic, social, and political reasons. But what's the consequence for the remainder? Well, when you have kidney failure and you're not treated, you die. There's no other option. And dying from kidney failure is not a pleasant thing. It's not slow. It takes days and weeks, and it's a cruel death. And this is really a dire situation. And it's actually not publicized. These numbers are huge when you compare it to other diseases like HIV/AIDS, like malaria, like lung cancer, like breast cancer. These numbers are way, way larger than the annual death toll from those diseases, but it's widely not known. Now, I put this here just in another graph. So one of those figures represents 1 million of patients. The blue ones are those that actually receive kidney replacement therapy. And the red ones are those that would need it in order to survive, but they don't receive it, and so now, and that's why they pass away. And you can see there is rounded of course, 3 million in 2010. There are 3 million in 2010 who received it, and something like 7 million who didn't, based on this most recent Global Kidney Health Atlas. And it's projected in 2030, the number of those receiving it will be around 5 million, and around 9 million will not receive it. So you see, both the number of patients who receive it will grow, but also those who don't receive it will grow. And why is that? Globally, the leading cause of kidney disease is diabetes and high blood pressure. And both of these diseases are developing rapidly. They are growing in most countries of the world. And this is what drives the epidemiology, the development of kidney disease. Now, most of those patients live actually in low and low middle income countries, 90% of those. And as you can see on the map on the right side, there is a huge disparity when it comes to provision of kidney replacement therapy. As you can see in North America or Western Europe, Australia, Taiwan, Japan, there is most patients who need kidney therapy receive it. But in other places, and those are the ones in blue, like Sub-Saharan Africa, Southeast Asia, but also Indian subcontinent, a large number of patients don't receive that care. So it's, but what the map shows, it's a truly global problem. And in a landmark publication in 2015 in the esteemed journal The Lancet, the authors say the number of people without access to RRT, which stands for renal replacement therapy or kidney replacement therapy, will remain substantial. These data show a pressing need to develop low-cost alternatives, low-cost RRT alternatives. Just to give you a little bit of an introduction how dialysis works. And I'm more than happy to address details in the later Q&A session. So usually with dialysis, the patient is connected to a dialyzer or what's sometimes called an artificial kidney. In this artificial kidney here, there is an exchange of fluid and toxins or substances that accumulate in the patient who has kidney failure. And then these substances are transported through blood lines to a dialysis machine, which is approximately the size of a oh, maybe this size here, or larger, a little bit larger. And in order and then this fluid is clean there. In order for this to happen, water is required. And for a usual dialysis treatment, anything between 200 liter to 500 liter up to 1,000 liter in certain cases are required. Can you imagine? It's huge, and patients need this treatment ordinarily 3 times a week. So this is a tremendous challenge for the medicinal water system, of course, because it has to provide thousands and thousands and thousands of liters of clean water. Now, we realize that this is a real challenge. How do you do this? Let alone that the machine is expensive. Costs several thousand US dollars. In the United States, something like 20,000 US dollars, such a machine. I'm not sure about the costs here in India, I'm sure. And they vary between countries, of course. But you need an elaborate water system. This water system looks like a little factory almost when you visit a dialysis facility. So a lot of technology is actually necessary to treat such a patient. And we were really thinking, how could we make this simpler? And the thought was, well, we could ask, for example, a relative of a patient to be connected to this artificial kidney. And then this person, we call him or her body, would excrete the fluid and the substances through his or her kidney. This sounds like a totally crazy idea, right? But the good news is it works. So we have done extensive testing of such a system in the laboratory, and it just works. And as you can see immediately, you don't need all this high tech here. You don't need a sophisticated machine that would cost thousands and thousands of dollars. All you need is a very simple machine, actually, with few pumps and that's it in essence. So this is the approach we are pursuing together with Dr. Nayak. It's called Allo-HD. Why Allo-HD? Allo is a Greek word that means the other, because you need another human being. Now, where do we stand? So this concept was developed in fall 2017. By early or mid 2018, we had the first prototype built. And we went through mathematical modeling of this. We socialized the idea with more than 100 kidney doctors from over 20 countries. And no real counter-arguments were identified. We had extensive ethical, legal, and regulatory conversations. Engineers were, of course, involved, and health economic analyses were conducted. The prototype was built. Now it's 2 prototypes. We ran bench tests. And the next step is animal experiments in large animals to see, does this really work in a living mammalian animal? And these tests will be performed in collaboration with Virinchi hospitals here in Hyderabad. And I cannot tell you, I'm so much looking forward to it, because what came out of some may say crazy ideas, suddenly you see this, it's something to touch, and it's something you can really look at, and you see, oh gosh, this actually could work and could make a difference. And if these studies are successful, of course, we are planning clinical studies where this would be could be used. And as Dr. Nayak said already, the first use case might be really children and young adults with acute kidney injury, because we think that most parents, most family members would make themselves available for 2 weeks or 3 weeks to actually really save the life of this child or young adult We just think that I spoke to a pediatric nephrologist who is taking care of children exclusively from Khartoum in Sudan, and she said, well, people would do this in a heartbeat. Of course, there's no question about it. Who wouldn't do that? So we think, and approximately, the numbers are not really difficult to collect, but around 1.2 to 1.5 people die every year of acute kidney failure because they don't have access to kidney replacement therapy. And we think that such a simple, affordable methodology like AlloHD could really go a long way to save lives here. So where do we stand right now? Well, I think I have shown you some data that there's globally millions of patients die prematurely every year because they have no access to kidney replacement therapy. Number is projected to increase, as I've shown you. AlloHD has received an encouraging reception by the medical ethicist. We had an extensive review of societal and ethical aspects of this. Nephrologists and caregivers. Actually, a group in Mexico, without us being involved, even without knowing, they would conduct a survey in patients and patient caregivers and healthcare professionals. And almost 80% of the caregivers said, yeah, of course, we would do that. No insurmountable medical or technical problems have been identified. Bench tests in New York are hugely successful and actually it turned out to validate our assumptions. Animal studies will start shortly in Hyderabad here. Of course, when it comes to care delivery models, to business models, how to use this needs to be tailored to local circumstances. I've learned that within India, it's many different, local opportunities, and also in countries like I'm in negotiation with colleagues from Latin America, changes between countries, within countries. So this has, of course, been all considered. So I think I stop here, and I said I'm more than happy to entertain your questions. So really thank you.
The entire presentation, I'm so excited that we can take this collaboration forward, and we will do everything that is required to, make it a huge success. So I will shift my language to Telugu so that we can address the questions, and also I'll give a brief. ఇప్పుడు విరించి హాస్పిటల్స్ అండి మాది. మేము ఒక కొలాబరేషన్తో ఎంటర్ అయ్యాము. ఈ కంపెనీ పేరు రీనల్ రీసెర్చ్ ఇన్స్టిట్యూట్, అమెరికాలో ఉంటుంది. వాళ్ళు ఫ్రెజనియస్ కార్పొరేషన్ యొక్క సబ్సిడరీ అన్నమాట. ఫ్రెజనియస్ కార్పొరేషన్ టర్నోవర్ 2,50,000 కోట్లు. వీళ్ళు 90% మార్కెట్ వీళ్ళదే. దేంట్లో? కిడ్నీ డయాలసిస్లో. డయాలసిస్ మెషిన్స్ మార్కెట్. మెషిన్సే తయారు చేయరు వీళ్ళు, మెషిన్స్ తయారు చేసి పేషెంట్స్కి డయాలసిస్ కూడా సర్వీస్ ఇస్తారు. 90% అమెరికాలో వీళ్ళదే. అసలు వీళ్ళే కనుక్కున్నారు డయాలసిస్ చేయడము మెషిన్ అని. మన ఇండియాలో ఎక్కడ మీరు డయాలసిస్ మెషిన్ మంచి ప్లేస్ ఉందంటే వీళ్ళదే. ఏ హాస్పిటల్కి వెళ్ళినా హైయెస్ట్ వేయండి వీళ్ళదే వేయండి. అది వీళ్ళు ఫ్రెజనియస్ కార్పొరేషన్. సో వాళ్ళు డయాలసిస్ కిడ్నీ డిజీజ్కి నెక్స్ట్ స్టెప్ ఏంటి రీసెర్చ్ వాళ్ళకి చేయాలి, వాళ్ళు చేస్తున్నారు. వాళ్ళకి తీసుకొస్తే ప్రపంచానికి రీసెర్చ్ వస్తుంది. అలాంటి ఉత్తమమైన ఒక ఇన్స్టిట్యూషన్ మమ్మల్ని ఎంపిక చేసుకుంది. అది ఈరోజు మా చెప్పదలుచుకుంది. ఇండియాకి కారణం అది. ఇండియాకి వాళ్ళు లేరు ఇంకా. ఇండియాలోనే మొదటిసారి వాళ్ళు వచ్చి విరించి హాస్పిటల్స్ అని ఈ డాక్టర్ నాయక్ గారు ఉన్నందువల్ల. ఎందుకు డాక్టర్ నాయక్ గారు అక్కడ ప్రొఫెసర్, ఈ పార్ట్ ఆఫ్ రీసెర్చ్ కూడా చేస్తుంటారు అనమాట. డాక్టర్ నాయక్ గారు ఈజ్ వన్ ఆఫ్ ది టైమర్స్. అసలు కిడ్నీ ట్రాన్స్ప్లాంట్ చేసింది, ఐ థింక్ యూ స్టార్టెడ్ కిడ్నీ ట్రాన్స్ప్లాంట్ ఇన్ ద కంట్రీ, రైట్? ఐ మీన్
in Andhra Pradesh, from dead people, that is Jeevandan, like Jeevandan, accident victims, we did the first, second and third in Andhra Pradesh. Combined Andhra Pradesh, third in the country, and we are pioneers. And we did the country's first simultaneous heart and kidney transplant, which has never been done after that.
సో నాయక్ గారు బేసిక్లీ ఆంధ్రప్రదేశ్లో ఫస్ట్, సెకండ్, థర్డ్ చేశారు. ఈ నాయక్ గారు, మన డాక్టర్ నాయక్ గారు అక్కడ విజిటింగ్ ప్రొఫెసర్, సో పార్ట్ ఆఫ్ రీసెర్చ్ ఆయన కూడా చేస్తారనమాట. అందుకే ఏమైంది వాళ్ళకి, దే హ్యాడ్ టు చూజ్ అస్. సో మమ్మల్ని ఎంపిక చేసుకున్నారు. మమ్మల్ని ఎంపిక చేసుకొని ఇప్పుడు కిడ్నీ డిసీజ్ కొన్ని 4-5 వాళ్ళకున్న రీసెర్చ్ ఏవైతే ఉన్నాయో ఆల్రెడీ అప్రూవ్ అయినవి, అప్రూవ్ కాబోయేవి అన్నిట్లో మనకు వస్తుంది అనమాట. మన విరించి హాస్పిటల్ ద్వారా మనం నెఫ్రాలజీ అదే డిపార్ట్మెంటు వాళ్ళకున్న మొత్తం ఇన్నోవేషన్స్ ఒక్కొక్కటి మేము ఇండియాలో ఇద్దాము అన్నది ఇప్పుడు కొలాబరేషన్. దాంట్లో వినూతనం ఏంటంటే కొత్తది ఈరోజు వాళ్ళు తయారు చేయడానికి మమ్మల్ని స్పెషల్గా ఎంపిక చేసుకుంది ఏంటంటే, ఆల్రెడీ ఏవైతే అప్రూవ్ అయిపోయో అలాగో తీసుకొస్తాం. 4-5 ఇచ్చాను, మీకు పేపర్లో కూడా ఇచ్చాను. ఇప్పుడు కొత్తది ఏంటి అంటే, మెషీను లేకుండా ఒక మనిషికి ఇంకో మనిషిని కనెక్ట్ చేసి వీళ్ళు మొత్తం ప్యూరిఫికేషన్, బ్లడ్ ప్యూరిఫికేషన్ చేయడం అనమాట. ఇప్పుడు ఏమవుతుంది, మనిషి కిడ్నీ పాడైతే బ్లడ్ ప్యూరిఫై కాదు, ఆ బ్లడ్ ఒక మెషిన్ పోవాలి, ఆ మెషిన్కి బోల్డ్ నీళ్లు సప్లై కావాలి. అది పెద్ద మెషిన్, రెఫ్రిజిరేటర్ సైజు ఉంటుందని చెప్పారు, అదే వీళ్ళు తయారు చేస్తారు. ఇప్పుడు వాళ్ళే అంటున్నారంటే ఇది మెషిన్ లేకపోతే మనిషి చచ్చిపోతే కష్టం. సో మెషిన్ ఇక్కడ సిటీలో ఉంటుంది, టౌన్లలో ఉండదు, విలేజ్లో అసలే ఉండదు. పాపం వాళ్ళకి అసలు జబ్బున్న సంగతి తెలియదు, జబ్బు సంగతి తెలియకుండానే చచ్చిపోతున్నారు. సో జబ్బుండి రిక్వైర్మెంట్ తెలిసి అవసరం ఉన్న వాళ్ళే 40 లక్షల మంది, ఆ నెంబర్ ఇచ్చారు, 40 లక్షల మందికి కిడ్నీ ట్రాన్స్ప్లాంట్ కావాలంట. సో అంతమందికి ప్రాబ్లం ఉంది, అంతమంది డయాలసిస్ చేసుకుంటున్నారు. సో ఇప్పుడు వీళ్ళు అవలంబించే కొత్త విధానం ఏంటంటే, మెషిన్ అక్కర్లేదు, మెషిన్తో పాటు బోల్డ్ వాటర్ సప్లై ఎంత కావాలి అది అక్కర్లేదు. సింపుల్గా ఒక మనిషికి తీసుకొచ్చి ఇంకో మనిషి ఉన్న కిడ్నీ వీడికి సహాయం చేసి క్లీన్ చేసేసేటట్టు, అది ప్రపంచం ఎక్కడ లేదు. ఇది వీళ్ళు ఆల్రెడీ రీసెర్చ్ అంతా అయ్యింది. నెక్స్ట్ స్టెప్ ఇండియాలో మనతో పాటు కొంచెం ట్రయల్ చేసి వి విల్ బ్రింగ్ ఇట్ అంటే దట్ ఈస్ వాట్ ఈస్ వన్ ఆఫ్ ద థింగ్స్ లైక్ విచ్ చాలా తీసుకొస్తుంటాము. సో ఇది ఇంపార్టెన్స్. సో మోస్ట్ ఇంపార్టెంట్ ఏంటంటే ఫ్రెజనైజ్ కార్పొరేషన్ ఏదో 2,50,000 కోట్ల కంపెనీ కేవలం కిడ్నీ మీద రీసెర్చ్ చేసి కిడ్నీ మెషిన్స్, కిడ్నీ రిలేటెడ్ సర్వీసెస్ మాత్రం చేసేవే ఉన్నాయో వాటి మీదే చేస్తున్న కంపెనీ విరించి హాస్పిటల్ ఎంపిక చేసుకోవడం వాళ్ళ పార్ట్నర్గా గ్లోబల్, నాట్ ఓన్లీ ఇండియా, గ్లోబల్గా ఈ కొత్త తీసుకోవడం. బట్ ఇనిషియల్గా మేము ఇండియాలో చేద్దామని ఇది మా కొలాబరేషన్. ఆయన అదే పనిగా వచ్చారు. సో ఆ విషయం మీకు అందరికీ చెప్దామని ఇక్కడికి వచ్చామండి. దిస్ ఇస్ ఇట్. వస్తుంది, ఇప్పుడు దీన్ని గవర్నమెంట్ అప్రూవల్ తీసుకోవాలి కదా. ఈ కొత్త విధానానికి ఏంటి, గవర్నమెంట్ ఆఫ్ ఇండియాకి అప్రూవల్ ఉంటుంది, దానికి వాళ్ళు తగ్గ డేటా అడుగుతారు. సో అది మేము ఇప్పుడు సబ్మిట్ చేస్తాం. అప్రూవల్ రాగానే మేము చేస్తాం. మాకు ఇంటెలెక్చువల్ ప్రాపర్టీ వాళ్ళతో పాటు కొంచెం జాయింట్గా ఉండొచ్చు. సో బేసిక్లీ వాళ్ళకి అనుగుణంగా ఏం కావాలో ఆ డేటా మేము జనరేట్ చేసి అది ముందుకు తీసుకెళ్తాం అనమాట. మన గవర్నమెంట్ అప్రూవల్ ఏం చేయలేం కాబట్టి గవర్నమెంట్ అప్రూవల్ వచ్చేదాకా అదే
హెమోడయాలసిస్ తోటి జనాలు ఇంకా సైడ్ ఎఫెక్ట్స్ తోటి అలాగే ఇంకా వేరే ఇతర జబ్బులు అటాక్ అవుతున్నటువంటి పరిస్థితి, అది క్లీన్ చేయకపోవడము, లోపల వాడిని మళ్ళీ సెకండ్ యూజ్ చేయడం వల్ల చాలా సమస్యలు వస్తున్నాయి. ఇది ఏకంగా ఒక మనిషి ఒప్పుకో అనే విధానం, ఇట్లా అది ఎవరు ఒప్పుకుంటారు, ఇట్లా ఫ్యామిలీ మెంబర్స్ ఈ జబ్బు అటాక్ అయ్యే అవకాశం లేదా, క్రానిక్ డిసీజ్ ఉన్న వాళ్ళు.
కరెక్ట్, మీరు అడిగినానికి ఒక నిమిషం డాక్టర్ గారు సమాధానం చెప్తారు.
బాగా ప్రాబ్లం క్వశ్చన్, ఎందుకంటే మన తెలుగులో మాట్లాడాలి. మీరు నాకు సర్టిఫికేట్ ఇచ్చేయండి తెలుగు. మ్యాంగ్లూరు నుంచి తెలుగు హైదరాబాద్కి వచ్చి తర్వాత తెలుగు. ఇది ఈ ట్రీట్మెంట్లో ఎవరి కిడ్నీ పని చేయట్లేదు వాళ్ళకు వీఆర్ కనెక్టింగ్ దట్ పర్సన్ టు అ పర్సన్ హూస్ కిడ్నీ నార్మల్. సో వాళ్ళకు there is absolutely no side effect. Now which mother will not be willing to do this for her child if otherwise వేరే ఏమి దారి లేదు, child is going to die. But with this treatment, suppose imagine patient is in Adilabad in a small village. ఒక చిన్న స్మాల్ విలేజ్లో ఆదిలాబాద్లో ఈ ప్రాబ్లం ఉంది. ఇది ఈ ప్రోటోటైప్ ఉంది, వాటర్ కనెక్షన్ అవసరం లేదు, కాస్ట్ ఈజ్ వెరీ లిటిల్. అల్టిమేట్లీ ఎవ్రీ హాస్పిటల్ or not even hospital, small PHC can even PHC ప్రైమరీ హెల్త్ సెంటర్కి పోతే అక్కడ ఆ మెషిన్ కనెక్ట్ చేయించి ఖాళీ ఒక సూది పెట్టి 2 కనెక్షన్ ఇచ్చి 3 to 4 hours in one week, for only 2 weeks, chest the child will become normal, permanently normal, and will have a normal life after that. Alane snake bite aithe, same treatment can be done. Which wife will not, or which husband will not do this for their, and breadwinner, especially breadwinner of a family, వాళ్ళు చచ్చిపోతే entire family will be on the streets. So this is a boon. This is path breaking. Path breaking ante nothing like this has ever been planned, anywhere in the world. And this is going to, totally kidney care will be revolutionized. I hope you understood. Adlamayindi kada?
Doctor, but the question is related to what you just said. You said that it requires a healthy patient or a family member to give you that dialysis, okay? But is there any possibility of, emitting that disease to the healthy patient vis-a-vis this patient? I just want to know. And secondly, the main question is, in India, it is the end-stage kidney disease, which is more prominent than the acute disease that you talked about. So what about those kind of patients? And also you said that animal studies will be started in Hyderabad shortly. How soon this would be, done on human beings, and how soon this would be available to people?
You have asked too many questions, so.
Sorry for that, but.
The first one is?
About the transfer of kidney disease.
I
Transfer
just
of
wanted
kidney
to know,
disease.
because normally what happens in kidney patients, they have hepatitis.
Yeah,
problems.
see, the pore size of the filter
Yeah.
is so small that it does not allow viruses to pass across. Number one. Okay, so that is the main concern.
But the concern is also the CKD patients, doctor. You said end stage. In India, we have the maximum end stage kidney patients, more than the acute. You just
This
It's not
treatment,
only for
this
acute.
treatment is primarily,
for acute.
no, it will be both. The child can grow and then have a transplant. Finals, these are all treatments to keep the patient alive. Kidney has a remarkable ability to regenerate within 2 to 3 weeks. So that is the number one scenario we think that allo HD will help. Number two, in end-stage renal disease, it can only serve for a certain period of time. There are people who may want to do it lifelong, that also is possible. If you can buy this machine, because this machine is very, very basic, for about 10,000 or 20,000 rupees, I'm giving you a guesstimate.
I understand.
When they buy it
Related
and
to that cost factor, in India, the main problem is economics of dialysis.
so
I think you very
so
well know about
20,000
it.
rupees, you buy this machine, which is so small, and you use it throughout life. They may not. We really don't know the actual long-term scenario, but it is possible that it might serve as an alternative for transplant.
Maybe.
It may serve.
I understand. Yes,
Yeah.
I understand what you're saying, doctor. But I just wanted to know whether economically it would.
Economically, it is not. It is going to be much, much, much cheaper than the regular
the
dialysis
regular-
machine.
But
Yeah.
it still would require a hospitalization or
No,
hospital
not necessarily.
scenario.
You could do it at home.
If the patient is very sick, definitely hospiitalization.
No,
But
in the
if
normal
you,
dialysis
yeah,
situation.
most of the time hospitalization happens because the patient is kept, they are so scared to hospitalize the patient because the cost is very high of hospitalization. So if you start treatment very early, the patient can be treated in a PHC also, in a primary health center.
Otherwise, can they do this at home? You said under
Yeah,
a tree as well,
Yeah.
so.
You want to say?
No, really thank you for those questions. These are very, very good questions.
Thank
When it comes to and I concur with what Dr. Nayak said, when it comes to the transfer of diseases or viruses, that's certainly something we really looked into this in great detail. And just to give you an idea, the pores of the